I don't. Did you? I don't know. Like, there. She's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
You're adjusting.
Adjusting.
Are you jet lagged, or is that better?
I was a little bit, but I'm coming around now. It's really hard to try and get yourself on schedule because you just want to sleep constantly.
Oh, I bet.
Man. But we had fun. We had fun while I was there. And, I feel like I forgot how to do everything. Like, it's just been so long since we had so much good stuff in the can, that we were able to take a couple of weeks and just put up the shows.
That was great.
Yeah. But we have another good one. We've got author and publisher Shannon Ronan, and before I'm gonna bring her in because we have a little history.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we got to see each other so much while you were here.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It really was. We got to do Pride Fest. We got to go to dinner.
We met the G girls.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hey, we were just recapping my Florida vacation because I spent some time with JD in between parents and stuff.
Very cool. What'd you do down in Florida?
Well, JD played at West Palm Beach Pride, so I
Very cool.
showed up to see her and see some friends, and we had a blast. We actually had a really good time. The weather was great. It was jam-packed, and we went out to dinner a couple times, and we met a group of girls that do events in South Florida called the G Girls, and they were really cool. And we hung out with
Judy,
JD, singing partner sometimes, and Debbie Norden from Same Clothing Apparel. Had great stuff, good booth, and got to meet the family because we had her on the show to talk about the clothing line. So it was really cool then to meet her in person. So it was a really good trip. Like, I feel like we accomplished much.
Yeah. Sounds busy, but fun.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I was just telling JD that you reached out because the book is ready to go in May. And, and we're going to fly some pictures in. I just sent JD the book cover and stuff. But before that, like, I met you when you were working on this project.
Oh my gosh.
Email met.
Please remind me. Okay.
We emailed.
Oh, in the beginning. Yes.
Yeah. And and then I was like super psyched about what's being done with the book. Like, tell us first of all, it's like a coming out memoir for LGBT people, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it's titled Coming Out Together, Memoirs on the LGBTQ plus Experience. And really the mission behind it is just, those currently going through the process of coming out to know that they're not alone, or it can get better. And that there's community waiting on the other side. And so, yeah, just really been kind of a labor of love for almost 2 years now. So I'm super excited. I think I'm going to have it in my hands in the next 2-3 weeks.
It's so exciting.
It's gonna be like holding a baby. I mean, I got the fruit sent to me, which doesn't have the cover on it, but like I still get to feel the weight and the size, and I already like kind of teared up getting this. So
that's fantastic. Now, did you self-publish this? Because you have a publishing company, right?
Yeah, so I actually went ahead and created a publishing company to do this book. And I have ideas maybe for some future projects as well, but this was the first one that really came into my mind to do. And I just decided to do it in that manner instead of self-publishing, actually be the publishing company.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's amazing. And how'd you find people that were willing to share their stories?
There was a few different avenues. So I don't know if you're familiar with Brandy Carlisle, the artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yes.
kind of a weird, so during COVID and quarantining and all that, my wife and I actually joined her fan club, which is funny. We're like in our 40s in this fan club, but we had no idea. Like we joined it to be able to listen to live music during quarantine times because they were doing these amazing compound quarantine shows. And just started watching those and became a part of this community of the fans and like became friends with people and finally got to meet them in person and ended up just being this community of inclusion and like this community we never knew we needed. It became such a big part of our life. And so some of the inspiration certainly for that book is the people we met and talked to, it's like the first date conversation, right? Like, so how'd you come out? So, we had a lot of those kind of conversations. So a number of those people contributed their stories, but then I reached out to, hundreds of LGBT centers across the country, almost every state. And, a number of them put it out to their communities. So we got some stories that way.
Great, because then you're getting them from like everywhere on the map.
Yeah. So it's, it's a really great collection from different regions, but also the spectrum of trans, gay, lesbians, older, younger women, people who've been married for 20 years that realize that had kids, people,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's our target.
Yeah. The stories are all so uniquely beautiful. I'm really excited to share them. Yeah.
It's really, really, and the fact that people trust you with their story is a real tribute to you.
Thanks.
There's a lot of ways stuff like this can be exploited, and people never know who to trust and who not to trust. But it's
So true.
The testament to you that they were willing to share their stories.
Thanks. I hadn't been told that before. Thank you. It's sacred, right? It's like I'm very grateful.
Did you find that people's stories were different depending on their ages? Like the younger the people, the less intense the coming out, or the easier it was to come out than from the people that were older when times were different?
I know what you're speaking to because the struggle is definitely harder. The older generation had to deal with a lot less acceptance. But I will say some of the younger people who contributed still live in towns that don't have acceptance yet, right? So,
Yeah.
That on an overarching level, I understand what you're saying, but I think that really the thread of, no matter how different the stories were, the thread of that struggle, we can all really kind of feel what the person was going through in these stories, because for those of us that have been through it.
So it could be a little more, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It could be a little more of a geographical, so much, not even so much as, that's exactly what I was saying, as generational, because like I'm thinking like people who are older even in their 70s, it was so much harder. I know women in their 70s that it was so much harder back then.
Yeah.
But even, and that's something that's really good to think about, because I've always lived in a, urban, more city type places, like in New York, and I live in Florida near Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So, but those small towns, especially in the Bible Belt, are probably, it's just as hard as maybe it used to be for people back who, in the 60s and 50s and 60s.
Yeah. I mean, I think we definitely need to give credence to those whose shoulders we stand on. I mean, that is definitely something I pointed out in my dedication, because, there is an awareness of, the older generations and what they had to endure. It was different, it was a lot harder overall.
Totally. Yeah, that's true. And then, I think I do feel like doing things like this, like publishing a book or doing a podcast where you can reach people who aren't comfortable coming out right now, but their computer is sacred, their laptop is sacred, their earbuds are sacred, they can listen to stuff that's relatable. I remember probably like, I think it was 2007, maybe, I was doing a podcast out of my little apartment in South Florida before I moved to London. And we had a listener email us and say that she lived in a rural middle America state, and she didn't feel safe being out, but every Wednesday she felt like she was with her friends,
Oh,
and it was like
incredible.
it really opened my eyes to that situation, and like sometimes it's hard to get books, or you never know what a person's family life is like. Is the family computer in the middle of the living room? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
how difficult is it for them? And they will find a way to find a resource. So, the more stuff that we put out, I truly feel like the more people we help, in some weird way. And that was 2007. And I feel like it still goes on. I don't think things have gotten all that much safer in the Midwest, or,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The pendulum of progress, as Obama said, it kind of swings
Right.
forward and then further back, like, a lot
Yes.
of crazy stuff going on in the States these days.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. It's it
But,
really is.
in reference to what you're saying, yeah, I mean, the goals of this book are certainly to help heal people. And like, it's the book that I wish I had growing up. It probably would have been hidden under my mattress, but
Right. But you would have found a way. That's my
Yeah, right.
you find
Right.
a way, whether it's having to order it and to a different address and go get it.
yeah, you would have
Sneak it
found a
home in the
way.
back of your pants. Yeah, like you find ways. But I think it's heartwarming, first of all, that you felt something and followed through with it. Like you felt these things, that people were sharing with you or whatever, and you said, you know what, I have a great idea. And not only did you collect the information and do the book, but like you said, the publishing company to distribute the book, it's just, you really carried the ball over the finish line. You
Thank you.
line and try and punch it in different ways. Clear vision, and and boom, mission accomplished. And you said your wife was working on this with you, or this was just?
Yeah, well, so maybe a little origin story, because certainly like the people we met and talked to with their own stories, but really where the seed was really planted for me of doing it was, I don't know if you're familiar with the Matthew Shepard incident that happened back in 1998.
Yes.
Laramie.
So that was when I wasn't yet out, or I'm sorry, it happened a couple months after I had come out. And so it really shook me. And when I was driving out to Red Rocks back in 2021 in September to go to a Brandy Carlisle concert, I saw that I was going to be driving through, there's a thread there, right? I was going to be driving through Laramie, Wyoming, which is where the incident happened. And so I made the choice to stop and go to his memorial bench that's there at the University of Wyoming, and to have my lunch. And I just sat there, and it was a lot heavier than I anticipated.
Sure.
And I just kind of made a silent promise to him. I was like crying, and it was just like, I will do something in this life to make it so that your death wasn't in vain. I didn't know what yet, but I went on to the concert, was surrounded by that community of people I spoke of. And then I was driving home, and it just occurred to me, what if I collect these stories to share them to help others that need support? Okay, what if I create a publishing company and do, so all these, it was a road trip, and I just had time like to think to myself. And that's kind of where I came home and just went to work. So
it's incredible. It's incredible. And you know what, you're right. Like what's happening, I feel like we're getting so numb. Like with Matthew Shepard, it was like the first very public, like country mourning, the community was mourning together over this because they made it so public, which is amazing. Like think back even further to Ryan White, with AIDS,
Yeah.
Again, like if people don't make these things, public, then we can't mourn as a community. But I feel like cut to 2023 and doom scrolling on Twitter, and every other thing is about a trans murder or a drag queen fight, or, people protesting at the show. And it's like, oh my God, like I need to see good. Like I need to see good. There's so much heartache out there that this is, the complete opposite of that. And I think, we at a time like this, we certainly need a book like what you're putting out,
Yeah. Well,
Did
what's
you
crazy too? Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to ask you, did you find it hard to wear all the hats, being the publisher and the writer? And I'm sure you're doing your marketing as well. Like I do that with my music. So I know what you speak of, waiting for that book to come. Because when I waited for my CDs to come, every time when I knew I was waiting for the UPS truck, and I remember the girl jumped out of the truck right almost in front of another truck that was coming. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
But it's hard to wear all the hats, and it's your passion. And probably the one thing you want to do is the writing, but you got to do the business stuff as well to put it all together as a project, right? Like, how did you find?
So this is going to sound crazy. My wife and I actually own a jerky company as well. It's called Two Chicks Jerky. For all intent and purposes, day-to-day stuff, distributor. So, and then I started this, and then we also actually manage a band, Small Town Strings as well, which is Brandy Carlisle's niece and nephew. So I kind of the business development side of it all, I really enjoy, actually. So all the hats, I kind of like being the one that gets to do all that stuff. The organization.
The right brain, left brain thing.
That's a knack.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a knack. That's fantastic.
It's a lot though. I mean, I have a lot of lists, a lot of spreadsheets, but
yeah.
So
but weirdly, jerky aside, it all ties in together.
It does. Yeah.
Brandy Carlisle
thing, the road trip, the band management, the book, it's all in a crazy yarn ball.
It really is. Weirdly enough, like we started doing the band stuff 2 months ago, and it's crazy how much translates to all. Obviously it looks different, but so yeah.
It's so cool. Though. I mean, like I think I like having a couple different projects that you can, okay, check that off that list, but now let's go here, check that off, work on that. Yeah, it kind of it clears your head for a second before you dive into something else, and then you go back to it. So that, but it is a knack.
Diving into this book, researching, there aren't any other books out there that are literally just collections of coming out stories. I mean, certainly there's a lot of LGBTQ plus literature and the theme, but nothing that's just like a collection of people's experience with coming out. And I think one of the cool things that in this style of writing, memoir writing, it wasn't something that I put forward when I gave like submission guidelines to people, but all of the stories end with like a little hope and positive, and it just kind of occurred as I was reading the stories as they were submitted. I was like, wow, this is kind of a really cool little part to these stories that I hadn't, anticipated coming together that way. And I think that's also a really cool aspect of it.
Was it hard weeding was it hard weeding through the submissions?
No, I mean, they're all just so different. I was wondering if they would be really similar at all. Like, certainly the themes of religion and shame or parents taking it hard. They're present for sure, but they're all just really uniquely beautiful. I mean,
cool.
Yeah. And I was really impressed actually with the writing itself. Yeah. Cause you don't know when you're accepting a lot of different missions.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And you weren't reaching out to writers, so it was just actually telling the story. So that's big that they were well done. I remember like sending you and or like contacting you and saying, I know you're working on this, but I like published a book, but I hate the cover and I want to redo some things and I want to do it all as one instead of 2 parts, and went all through it with you. And then you reach back out and I wasn't ready because my ex-husband passed away, and I just couldn't do it because he was such a big part of the story. And I just, still not ready, but it was, yeah, the timing was a little messed up, but I am so looking forward to reading this. Like you said, there's not much, there's nothing out there that's quite like that. I do remember, like, I don't know if you, like, maybe 6-7 years ago when web series were big, there was
Mhm.
I was getting a lot of press emails from press people about web series of
Yeah.
coming out stories, and it was just a constant
Yeah.
flow of it. It was, a YouTube show or an actual web series or a 2-part
There was
documentary.
an HBO series, I think, too, with
Yeah,
that.
there was just, it was just
Three,
a lot, but
all different
no.
people, different scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we're turning the corner where it comes to book reading. Like people are, I swear to God, this is
Mhm.
the first I can say this and probably sound like a complete idiot, but the last couple of years, I don't know if it was the pandemic or what, but I, just started being really interested in people's stories, like people I just,
Mhm.
read
Me
Prince Harry,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's so
I have
weird.
become a documentary watcher,
Thank you.
and
Yeah,
Oh, I
more,
love
yeah,
more
that's
so,
another thing. Yep. Yeah.
autobiographical
Right.
documentaries,
Right.
than
Yeah.
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's
I
true.
can say, like, I think in my, in my 20s, you're busy. You're busy partying,
Right.
starting your life and all that kind of stuff. In
Right.
my 30s, I was dating like a hound dog because I was making up for lost time. And in my 40s, I had just moved here and I was adapting and adjusting and, and working and all that. And now I think I'm just at that period of my life where I actually have the time to, pick up a book and sit with it. So like, I'm like, boom,
Mhm.
Pamela Anderson's book done. Prince Harry's book done. Mick
Yeah.
David's book done. Like, I'm just like, boom, 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 like all of a sudden. And it's a whole different thing. But I mean, I look at like, just like the other day, I was like, saw somebody with a t-shirt on that was like, books, cats, wine. And I'm proud book reader right there. Like I think we're turning this corner and people are coming back to books,
Yeah.
Mhm.
back bookshelves
Yeah.
and stuff like
I
that.
sure hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Less screen time.
Yeah, I think you're
I'm
capitalizing on the
guilty of
moment.
that. Believe me. Yeah.
Exactly. Less screen time. There it is. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's going to be a physical book that you could hold, and it's not just coming out like as an online book that a lot of
Yeah.
people do. 'Cause
Right.
I like holding a book and reading it. I don't
Me
like
too.
reading things on
Yeah. Yeah.
an iPad or something. Yeah.
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 I'm excited. I want to get a copy. I'm excited for it when it comes out.
Oh, I want to show you these. All right. So you had asked about my wife. I'm sorry. She is a contributing author. And she actually designed the cover. I'm looking at the painting on our wall right now, actually. So it's my favorite painting of hers on our wall. But so this is the proof of it that I got. So that you'll get to see it on the actual book form. It's
it's
such
legit. It's so legit.
It's like a perfect burst of color, like coming out. It's
Yeah.
correlated so perfectly. So I'm really excited to be using her. She's amazingly talented artist. So
that's a good blend. That's a good blend. So let's just talk about the jerky for 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Was it like I'm gonna get her a smoker for her birthday, and let's see how we go, and then all of a sudden or was it like the pair of you had a passion for jerky?
I actually was on this whole kick of like pickling things, doing homebrew beer. I started making jerky for us for road trips and hikes and concerts. I wanted to know that the meat was sourced sustainably. It was grass fed. There's no junk in the marinade. I don't want antibiotics, hormones. So I just started making it myself and handing it out to friends and family. Feedback was such that I just had this idea. I'm going to create a jerky company. So I did that. I think we've been in business for 9 years. We're nationwide. I think we're the only women and LGBT owned jerky company out there. Called Two Chicks Jerky. So that's been a wild ride too.
And how did you come to manage Brandy Carlisle's niece and nephew's band?
So this that just happened really organically, really recently, like I said, just a couple of months ago. So with the jerky during the compound quarantine shows, Brandy's cellist is from our hometown. he's the one who told us to join Bramley to have live music during that time. And so I messaged him and said, you know, as a thank you, we'd love to send you some jerky. At that point, we had been alternating nonprofits. We give back every month. It's called our Giving Back Initiative. And we would alternate between like ACLU or Color of Change. Well, it turned out, you know, Brandy and her wife had started the Looking Out Foundation, which is an amazing organization. They do just work from all different angles. So, you know, Children Without Borders or immigrants or civil rights or LGBT rights. I mean, they just do so much. So
really good
we
causes.
So we just decided to start giving, you know, donating to the Looking Out Foundation instead. And instead of alternating, we're just sticking with them. So, you know, Catherine went on and like showcased our jerky on one of the live shows and like just kind of the beginnings of all of that. And then when the shows opened back up, we happened to just meet the niece and nephew. They're in their own band called Small Town Strings. They're incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They're 13 and 15, but Brandy's brother is also in the band. And I mean, they'll blow you away. And we just kind of became friends with them over the couple of years. They stayed here with us. We stayed up at their house in Curlew, went to a festival that they put on every year. And got to be friends with the mom, especially, who was doing everything herself. And we're like, well, when you're ready, we'll be willing to help. And she's like, actually, and we just started like, I'm like, if you want us to be serious, we'll get serious. So we came in and just kind of helped create a process and organization to it. And we helped book their national tour that they're about to go on, which 50 plus locations.
Oh my God.
So that just got
13 and 15.
It's incredible. And, you know, some of the stops are going to do like pre-parties before her aunt's show. And her aunt, she supports them a lot. She'll bring them on stage, but she's, you know, they're doing the do. She's not, they don't ask her for anything. They've earned it. So it's really exciting for them. We're honestly, of all the things, like, I'm really excited to be a part of all this. It's
so
been
cool.
Be a
You're
part
a
of
busy woman.
Yeah. That's
You are two busy chicks.
yeah.
Two chicks
Well,
busy.
You know, I'm thinking about actually with their tour, because we want to be present as much as possible, working it as a book release tour too. So go to places a couple days before them and LGBT centers or bookstores and speak about the book around the country and like make it a book
yeah,
tour.
definitely. Yeah.
That's what I kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a really
I
good
love that
idea.
you guys work together. I think that's amazing that you can do that. You know, it's hard sometimes for couples to do that. And it's amazing when you can, because you have the same passions and you can travel together and your successes are together.
Your skill
It's
set
such a
goes
beautiful
together.
thing. It really is.
I mean,
That's
we're, you
huge.
know, it's not that it's not hard at times, of course, but no, we work pretty well
Yeah.
together. Our strengths lie in different areas, so it's kind of a good medley, you know.
That's what
Right,
like
right.
your skill sets like so complement each other.
Mhm.
That's huge. Like
Yeah.
my wife is so cerebral and like over the top smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always tell JD, like my wife will come home and say, you know, like some like huge big long tech explanation for something that she did, and I'm like, I got 5 retweets on Twitter. Like that's my big, announcement. So we're in such different zones
But it
at the
works.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's, you know, that's what it is you've found a way to capitalize on your strengths and work together.
Yeah.
And make
That's
it, and
great.
they're fun jobs. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
No, it's pretty wild.
I would kill to like travel around the country, managing a band, selling jerky, and talking about LGBT stuff. Like,
I know.
what more could you ask
I
for?
know, it's wild.
Wow.
So random.
Oh my God. Yeah. But it's really, it's you know, like just, I can't tell you like how much success I wish for this project,
Wow.
you know, this book, because I really do think it's something that'll mean a lot to people that are, you know,
Definitely.
we're just looking for something relatable that's theirs. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times you know, go with your friend to see Bros at the movie theater, or, you know, watch
Yeah.
a film or whatever. And you talk about that thing, you know, together, but sometimes a book is like just yours, you know, and then
Mhm.
Yeah.
when it's just yours, that's when you share it with other people, you know, because you
Yeah.
Mhm.
you like it. So, you know, I like I said, we'll we'll definitely put some pictures in this so people can see the titles. And
Mhm.
tell me now, like, how people can buy it. Like, how do they
Yeah.
how do they get to it?
Yeah, so I'm apart from doing the book tour and trying to go to different bookstores and that manner, obviously our webpage, you can buy direct. And then I'm actually going to be using a distributor because most bookstores I reached out to were like, do you use Ingram? Do you use Ingram? Because they don't want to order from a bunch of authors and publishers. They have one centralized database that they order from. So I can still market it. Hey, we're in Ingram now, but so that basically that's what's going to get us carried in bookstores across the country is by using them. So it'll be bookstores, live events, and then our webpage.
Which is
Oh, sorry. Openairpress.com.
openairpress.com.
Yeah, the name of the publishing company.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Like, with all this going on, you mentioned that you still have other projects that are swirling around. Is there anything, coming up after this?
Future book ideas, nothing set yet, but once it is, I'll definitely reach back out to you ladies. And also once it's out, there's a few podcasts we're going to go back on with actual authors who are maybe willing to read their stories. I don't know if that would be of interest, but we can talk later.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, something just like a little bit separate from this, that's kind of their platform.
Yeah.
On our feed, so they get our subscribers, but it'll be their presentation or their
their
chapter or
story.
whatever. Yeah, their story. Yeah, that's great idea. Definitely.
Let me-
They must be
let
so
me-
proud.
I am incredibly proud.
Yeah.
It's been a labor of love for sure. I wanted to ask you, so, it occurred to me with collecting these stories and the format of it, I was sensitive to people reading it or hearing about it that aren't ready to come out, that maybe they would feel like, am I not brave? Am I not, all of these things.
Right.
So I added in the book in the back, a little piece that I would love to read if you don't mind.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
kind
by
of
all
to
means.
those people. I wrote, coming out is a personal journey. This is for those who, for whatever valid reason, aren't ready to make the very personal choice to come out. The decision to come out should be yours alone. Everyone's personal journey around this is different, and there is absolutely no shame in not being ready. Only you can know within yourself when the time is right, and while it can feel overwhelming and scary, and your knees and voice may shake, please know when you do decide to crash through those closet doors, that community and support are waiting on the other side to embrace and accept you for all that you are. And if you decide that you're not ready, that's okay too. There are many different paths to living your authentic self, and while it might not be clear to you yet, there is support out there and you are not alone.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like,
Beautiful.
it's one of those things that you've just summed up that
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like, on October 11th and it's National Coming Out Day and everybody's celebrating it and talking about that kind of stuff. And then I do feel that exact way about people who just aren't ready yet,
A little empathy. Yeah.
And everybody's process
definitely.
is so different and their reasons are so
Totally.
different. And, it could be anything. Like, it's, there's a million reasons why someone might not be ready or just right now, it's all, and it's all valid. You're right. And it's all okay. There's no better way to say it than that's okay. One foot in, one foot out. Like that little dance goes on for a little bit, and that's okay too.
It felt important to speak to those people a little bit. Just
oh yeah.
I didn't want any,
Yeah, that's a boss move right there. That's really good. Yeah, big time. Yeah, we can't forget about them because they're like, like I just equate it with like they're at the ready,
Yeah.
They're the next ones. They're the next ones
Right.
in passing the baton, and now it's your turn. Go.
And we've been there, right? So we can understand the fear.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's such an individual thing. It's such an individual situation for everyone. And not as easy depending on.
No two stories are ever the same, whether it's to or when it happens, like that's I don't know, it's kind of like a cool thing too, though, that there's always stories out there, but you know, it is true though. And that is one of those things like first date things. So how'd you come out? You know,
I
Yeah.
think
You know.
maybe one common thread might be, I don't know if you found this, but I think it's true, it was true for me and for so many people I know, that when you finally do come out, like you think everyone's going to be so shocked and they all kind of figured it out before you
Yep.
said anything. And
Yep.
that's so true for so many people. And like you were basically the last one to know, you know, like
Yep.
that you don't think they knew.
Right.
And it's just, even just, you know, when we had dinner with Judy, Denise, that was the first time. Judy and I have been friends since 1997 when she started working with me. And she told, that was the first time she ever said to me, I always kind of wondered about you and I knew you were married, but I was thinking something was off. I listened to the music you wrote, and like she never told that to me. She never said that. It was
Oh my
funny. I'm like,
God, we talked
Judy,
about
you
that
knew?
too.
Judy,
Yeah.
you really, you
Uh,
kind of wondered? Like, you know, I thought when I told her she was going to be so shocked.
Right. It's funny,
And she
huh?
was not.
I kind of consider it like we're just giving them the validation, you know,
Yeah.
you were right. You were right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
nailed it. It's all about you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's like, again, I'm sure that's a pretty common thing, but you know I had like a few friends that were like kind of shocked, you know, and of course,
Mhm.
my Philadelphia friends, I just call them the Philly girls. So you remember I had Debbie on the show, right?
Mhm.
And when I told my friend Debbie, she was like, "Did you ever have a crush on me?" And I was like, "Oh God, no,
I had
no."
friends ask that too, and I'm like,
Right? That's the
no.
first thing they want to know. And then I
Yeah.
was like
Oh,
trying to
that's
be like
funny.
really respectful and saying, "No, oh my God, no, never." And she was like, "What is it? My big
Well,
fat
why
eyes?"
not? Yeah.
My eyes? What is my grays? You can see the grays? Is that what it is?
Right.
Is that attractive? It was just like, oh wow, this is backfiring in 10 different ways.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Yeah.
no good answer for that question.
No,
there was
totally.
none. That was like, let me get you a Xanax. I'll be right back. That was the right answer right there. But yeah, I mean that's the good thing about this too, is that, you know, when you get far enough away, there is a lot of stuff you can look back on and laugh about sometimes, you know, if it's a good situation. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, for a lot of people it is hard. And I think, you know, that's why content is important for them, you know, to know that
Yeah.
whatever they went through, as hard as it was, you know, your community will make it worth it, you know. And it's
Yeah.
hard to say that in these times because there's so much backlash and all the different letters, you know, like
Yeah.
Complete. Yeah.
unity in the community, you know, it's like, come on, what's
Right.
going on here?
Right.
Yeah. But even more reason we all kind of need each other in these communities, right? With what's going on.
Yeah, I'll say it's just
Yeah, for sure. For
and
sure.
you know, everybody wants, you know, I think for people like us, you know, the content creators, you're always looking for a way, like your ultimate goal obviously is to make people feel better, you know, to feel better, to know that everything is going to be okay. And you know, like we do this because we want to shine a spotlight. We want to shine a spotlight
Yeah.
on these projects
Yeah.
that, you know, some people might never know about. So
Yeah.
you know,
Illuminate
Yeah.
some marginalized voices for sure.
it's great.
Mhm.
Well, listen, we obviously you're a busy woman. We won't keep you, but I'm so thrilled that, you know, the time has come, and this was perfect timing. You know, when you reached out, it was just let's get her in a slot, man. It's coming up.
Cool. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
that's great.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
No,
Well,
we
and also
appreciate you.
what's the name of your band? I want to check them out.
Oh,
JD
JD Danner. JDDanner.com is my website. JD Danner, DANNER.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna look
Yeah,
you
that'll
up.
be great.
Oh, you'll love
Thank
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, can't wait. Awesome. Well,
Thanks.
thanks again. I really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to getting it out there.
Let us know if there's
Best of
anything we
luck.
can do. Yeah, we can, anything
Yeah.
more we can do, especially, you know, now with the band and this little tour you're putting together, be fantastic. We'll get the word out whenever you're going to be, you know, somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to meet you out on the road. That'd be fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Definitely.
We used to do that with Jay.
Oh yeah.
Used to bug her when she was on the road all the time. We would just
Yeah.
call her and put her on a show. Yep.
I'd call in.
Love
We're
it.
on speed dial.
We love
Perfect.
the band. Yeah. Well, listen, to you and your wife, much success, and thanks again for taking the time out. We appreciate it, and we'll, I guess, be catching up soon.
Perfect. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch.
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.
And I confess,
See?
my addiction
See?
is you.
We drank way too
Don't
much
ask me
whiskey.
why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I watch you, and though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You're my addiction. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. I turn away to mask the pain, but jealousy reveals my rage and madness. And knowing you can read my mind consumes me in a shameful kind of sadness. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You are my drug, my ever waking need. I got you in my blood. You've got me on my knees. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I